I also would like to say it was nice to see it in IMAX. We normally just see it on a normal screen.
Yeah,
so.
Film Red in IMAX was
Much
great.
bigger.
Oh, you're talking about seeing
Nicole Kidman
in IMAX?
Absolutely.
This is not how I thought our friendship would go.
I'm TJ.
And I'm Ryan the Gaffer.
And this is a review. On today's episode, we're reviewing
One Piece Film Red.
One Piece Film Red.
One of the best entrances in this movie was Rooster's random entrance.
But hey, before we ruin too much,
Yes.
spoiler warning.
Spoiler warning, Rooster is in the movie.
And a lot of other people. But if you've seen this movie and you want to discuss this with us, go ahead and keep watching. If you don't want to be spoiled, tune out and come back later.
Press pause, go see the movie. Make sure you use the bathroom, then come back and watch this with us. So TJ, what'd you think of the film?
Loved it. 2 thumbs up. What do you think?
Can I do like half a thumb and a thumb up? Like a 1.5 thumbs up?
You set the scale however you want.
This movie was a fun take. We finally got to see Shanks on screen more than we've probably seen him in all other times.
We got flashbacks of Shanks.
We got flash forwards of Shanks.
Well, current timeline
That
Shanks.
counts. Shanks knocked out like 1,000 people. It was pretty great.
Including some vice admirals.
And that was a big deal in the movie.
Great.
So let's talk about some other more important things. Usopp and his father share observation.
No. You can't start at the climax. In its own way, this felt a lot like a little One Piece arc to me.
Yeah, it did.
Like you got into this new place, you learned who was there, then you met who else was there that we didn't know. You find Law.
Yeah.
You know, you find
Okay,
Rooster.
let's talk about that real quick.
Sure, yeah.
Like, I don't remember the name of Law's like sidekick from
Is it
Zoa,
Beppo?
I think it might be Beppo, the white polar bear.
Yeah.
And like he's got himself all done up in the Uda stuff, and me, TJ, and the other 2 guys in the theater, we were all laughing pretty hard. I could hear the guy in front of us laughing a lot too.
Chopper also was a huge Uta fan.
Chopper was an obsessed Uta fan, and he was very upset that Luffy.
Every Straw Hat had the perfect characterization throughout the entire film for me.
Like
Like
even
in terms-
Zoro with like the throwaway line about the booze. I thought
Yes.
that was such a great moment.
Because Zoro, like, unfortunately doesn't seem as fun as he used to a lot of post-time skip, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair.
But this one, and it, you know, honestly, I blame that on, there hasn't been a lot of downtime.
Hot take, Nami is probably the weakest member of the crew in this movie.
Like, represented in character.
As a character, yeah.
Yeah, she really,
She was really kind of in the background for most of it.
she has a good moment where she protects Robin in the group fight.
Yeah.
But, you know, as most of them do in the group fight, they have their own
But it was,
moment.
I mean, like, it was just like, I forgot to
But
say
you're
that.
right.
I was going
You're
to say
right.
that earlier.
Like I feel like I get a lot of Chopper.
get
There's
a
a lot
ton
of
of Chopper.
lot of Sanji early on.
And Jinbei gets like the giant sea manta thing.
Yeah,
like,
Nami actually kind of falls
Brooke's the one who has to sing to get everybody off the stuck thing.
which is a great Brooke moment.
Yeah.
And right before that comes probably one of Nami's biggest moments, which is a Brooke bit.
Yeah, the Brooke bit about seeing her undergarments. Yeah. that's weird.
Oh, you do get to see Sunny as like an embodiment, which is really fun. But I didn't expect it to be like a Pokemon. Like it only really goes like Sunny, Sunny. You know,
At one
like
point it might say like, huh? It was great. Frankie had a great moment. One thing I will say about this
all
movie,
of them had great.
They all
moments.
have great moments, but interesting thing is like normally like one of the things they do in a lot of One Piece films, and I'd say like a lot of anime films in general, when you know these characters, is like they split up the team and everyone has their one matchup, and they didn't really do that in this one. Like,
I think that's great.
I think it was also really cool. I think it made sense. Uda is a pain in the ass. Like,
But I mean, okay, so let's talk about her turn.
okay.
Right? So like she starts off, you know, reunion with Luffy, we love that. She seems really nice.
She's like the cat from the Lego movie.
Here in Cloud Cuckoo Land, there are no rules. There's no government, no babysitters, and no negativity of any kind.
She's kind of like the cat, where
Right.
she's just full of love and positivity.
Read the lyrics to her song. So even though the song wasn't dubbed, they had the English subtitles on screen, and they sound happy, but they're very like utopia, but like in the creepy way.
Like where it's
feeling.
like, you know, Stepford Wivesy, actually, I would say. Like where everyone's kind of brainwashed into believing these stuff, that it's okay, smile. It was just really interesting because it kind of like touches upon this idea of like you know, Oda always takes on these big ideas, like idealism. And it's like, everyone should get along. But if you don't agree with me, you're gonna have to agree with me. And so it takes on, she's like almost like a dictator in a way.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay, so look, what makes a movie good from the storytelling perspective, right? The protagonist versus their antagonist. And in this, you have a great ideology difference.
Yeah.
We all know Luffy. His one thing is he wants to be the most free, and he wants everyone to be the most free. She wants everyone to be happy and not have to suffer.
And she says free, but not actually
and free, but she doesn't mean free because she's locking them into her world.
Free to be who they want to be
within her
picture.
confines.
Yes.
Yeah.
Her box. She wants everyone to fit into this box of whatever she thinks freedom is, which isn't really freedom at all.
But that's the point, and that's what makes her a great foil to Luffy.
Yeah.
Because we don't need to spend time with Luffy's ideology. Anyone who's seeing this movie knows his ideology.
If you haven't seen any One Piece before seeing this movie, you're a bad person.
Actually, I disagree, but you should leave a comment and tell me what you think about this exact subject matter, because I'd be curious to know what you thought of Luffy if you didn't know him before this movie.
One thing I will say about this movie that's really interesting is the lyrics to the song. You said, like, so we saw it dubbed. I think that's a really important detail.
We did.
We saw it dubbed. I watch in dub. TJ watches the dub. Those who prefer subs, kiss my... No, I mean, I understand. I understand that you want to get whatever you think is the truest version of the story. But we also read the manga. So take that. Do you read the manga? If you do, and you don't watch the dub, why?
This has been Ryan's Rant featuring Ryan the Gaffer.
I'm sure there'll be more.
Part 1.
It was a great movie-going experience. There was only like 4 people in the theater with us because we saw it in the middle of the day.
Yeah, insert picture of Ryan the Gaffer alone in the cinema.
And then there might be a photo of TJ alone when I took the picture, but my lighting wasn't as good. Now,
but I want to talk about the editing, because I didn't realize how much music would be in this movie, which is kind of a no-brainer, and it didn't hurt
it was
my
almost like
opinion
a
at
musical
all.
in a lot of ways.
And I think it was, and I love that, because it made me go, this is a musical island, which is the thing One Piece does so well, is every island has its own vibe.
Yeah.
And they even mentioned it was a musical island. You find out as the story progresses, it was like this academy for like great musicians, and Shanks was trying to drop her off there. And, you know, obviously it takes the turn it does, but the editing really resembled music videos.
Yeah.
Because there were so many song sequences that they would like flash and cross cut in the same way that like these great videos would. It's really fun.
I think it was really cool just to like, you know, like you don't really have like, who's the artist in the crew? Like I mean like Brooke, I guess, but like...
Brooke, and then Usopp is like the
he
painter.
paints stuff and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was kind of nice to see another character outside of their crew who does that. And now we know why Luffy's been obsessing about having a crew's musician.
The only thing that wasn't before it was Zoro.
The minute after he added Zoro, that's all he would talk about.
Let's get a musician.
And that kind of adds into why Zoro really is the first mate in the crew.
Exactly. He sought him out in the other way of asked him to join. But that's a conversation for another time. The point being, like, it added a depth to Luffy's character that was great in that way, and it felt super organic, because you obviously can have the argument of, is it actually canon?
Shanks and Luffy maintain their promise to each other. They won't see each other until he's like, you know, done his thing.
Well, it's like the Paramount War all over again, where Shanks sees him, but Luffy's knocked out.
And then we also get to see the one thing that we've really never seen, which is Shanks fight with both hands.
It's iffy with the timeline, which is fine. I think it's like the Dragon Ball movies. I think it's in its own timeline, and that works for me.
Alternate timeline, that works.
But you're right, you do get this weird flash of Gear 5 Luffy.
And you don't see his face, but you see the back of him.
Which was nice, but unnecessary.
Weird. It was weird, though.
And if anything, like, took me out of it, if I'm being honest.
No, you grabbed me when we saw it.
Well, because I was like, why?
I will say, like just the connections between the red-haired pirates and the straw hat pirates were really fun.
Beautiful, yeah.
The ship's doctor for the red-haired pirates, like, we never met him before, I feel like. And, like we've seen him. We've seen the guy who has the monkey on his back. We've seen all these guys, especially when they face off with the Blackbeard pirates, which show quick shot of that sequence. No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to do that. And like we never really got some of these backstories on these characters, so that was kind of nice. Like we still don't get backstories, but we get to see them together more, which is always fun.
It's also like the most we've ever seen Usopp's dad.
Yeah,
you know, like you actually
ever
get a good sense of who he is in the crew in this movie.
Yeah,
and he plays kind of like a similar role that Usopp plays.
I really am just glad that we kind of got to see like Usopp and his father have a mind meld, and it's like, they talk to each other.
Their observation
Their
hockey
observation
syncing
hockey.
up was
And then,
really cool.
Well, it was cool too because we got to see it between Big Mom's 2 kids that were connected, and he said that was why, and that's why they attacked the same part at the same side. So it made sense that like a familial connection allows you to see through each other's eyes in observation hockey. No, but film Red, like it was cool. Shout out to Shota Todoroki for being the first red and white haired character in an anime franchise like this, but
making it cool.
And then they did this character, Uda. And then we got that great sequence with the Celestial Dragon.
Same one Luffy punches.
Yeah, which I thought was a good parallel. Also,
a lot of great, just little tie-ins.
Also interesting how they like have everyone getting shot and she heals them because it's in the dream world, right?
Right, and then she tries to do it later in the real world, and it's really kind of sad.
It is sad, but it's kind of beautiful because like the doctor's like, no, I'll take care of it. Shout out to Amanda Lee who voiced Uda. She did a really good job. Obviously, Chris Sabat steals the show because he's Zoro and he's everybody else that we love. And Colleen Klinkenberg always does good as Luffy. She's fantastic. And I will say, at times I was like, oh, this movie's not doing it for me. There are things I'm not liking. And I think this is really important to say because like it's not a perfect film by any means. And every anime movie that I have seen that is like besides like maybe a Dragon Ball Z one that's 45 minutes, I feel like at times, why is this taking so long? It just, there's like a good 3 or 4 spots where I'm like, okay, it could end here. And I'm glad that that's not where it ends. I'm glad it doesn't end with the final climax of Ace, miss him. Luffy and Shanks double teaming and they're like the flashing back and forth between their faces.
Yeah, the nice parallel cuts.
And then after that, we have that epic Conqueror spirit moment where he just takes out everyone. Everyone.
Now again, 2 decibels quieter for the mic.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Like, it's implied that she dies. I assume she does.
That looked like they were looking at a casket.
Yeah.
They don't
don't
heavily show it, but I feel like that's what happens.
We knew she was going to die.
I mean, yeah, they go take the medicine. She's like, no, I got to free the people. You know, eventually she learns the lesson and comes around.
Yeah.
She redeems herself, and
as
sadly, it has to also be through death in this case,
and
which
that's
is a bummer.
Kind of a common thing, I feel like, in some of these stories.
Yeah, I wouldn't have minded if she lived.
I wouldn't have minded if she lived and showed up later in the anime, but...
I was invested in her and Luffy's relationship.
I appreciate that, yeah.
There's not a lot of like Luffy friends. Like obviously, like there's a lot of Luffy friends, but like to this level.
No, it's Sabo, Ace,
and it feels like Uta, and then his crew,
Yeah, that would be
like
and Kobe.
I would assume
Kobe. Let's talk about Kobe. Kobe has like good hockey power. Like
Kobe's got good hockey power. It's clear that people know him. I was so thrilled by the moment where they're like, "That's Kobe, the hero," and just like in the manga, like they cheer him on and they like really love him from this incident we don't know anything about, except for that Law, Blackbeard, and Kobe were all there.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to see that tied into this.
Kobe's an interesting character because he's a character we've seen mature more than anybody else, I think. Personally.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think him and Usopp probably are the two that we've seen grow the most, just as like Usopp's been pretty consistent with who he is, but like as a person, he's become a better person.
He grows a little bit each arc.
Yes.
Like he probably has almost the most steady growth.
Yeah.
Of any stride.
And then Kobe, because we don't see him for so many long spurts of time.
He grows off screen.
And it's great because it feels like it's the same Kobe. But like throughout the movie, Kobe's like, don't worry, Luffy and his crew got this. We have other things to do. And I think that's really important for a story like this.
He trusts Luffy the way his crew trusts Luffy.
Yeah. No, I mean like, despite Nicole Kidman showing up before the movie and paying the extra money to see the movie in IMAX because, you know, we both have AMC stubs, and yet we had to pay to see the movie. Like, it was a good movie. I don't know if I would watch it over and over again like I do with My Hero Academia, Heroes Rising, but that's more because of the pace of that movie, and I feel like the pacing was a little bit off with this one.
So, here's the problem with
One Piece film,
the pacing for me. Yeah. It has about maybe 3 to 10 minutes that it kind of starts to drag for me in the climax.
Yeah. It was like the constant like, okay, everyone go. Okay, everyone go. Okay, and it was like multiple like everyone attack moments where I was like, you really didn't need like 6 or 7 different versions of everyone attack. Like not the individual attacks that were like timed with the other side, but every time they attacked the demon monster thing, what's it called? Music Was it?
Well, you had to attack it. I get what you're saying. The final.
Before they attacked it at the same time, there was all these moments where Zorro and then the fire lion dude from Cake Island and
Oven,
and then Trafalgar Law were attacking.
Right.
And I was like, does that need to be what happens? Like just strictly from a perspective of like having now seen the movie, we're about to get this great moment. Like, do you need to stretch that out? I felt like that, like stuff like that just seems stretched out.
I mean, yes, because that's exactly how it feels in manga arcs and anime arcs as well. I mean, like, you don't need that moment, but like, this is the pacing of almost like the medium. Is like, okay, big battle, the battle's not working.
To figure out Japan.
Climactic moment. And then that climactic moment in this for the emotional pull slows down the climactic fight, which makes it feel very slow after it's been fast.
Yeah.
And then right after you get the great cuts you keep talking about, which are amazing.
Well, and there was the initial fight where I was like, okay, cool, so this is the final fight where the guy gets the lance through the stomach and then he explains the backstory. And then there was
that's the moment that slows it down.
That's the moment that slows it down. But then there's another fight, and then they have another moment that kind of slows it down, and then there's another fight, and that's the final fight. And then everything's done, we think. And then the Navy starts attacking, and that's when Shanks does his conqueror spirit, or as I like to call it, intimidation hockey. Because he intimidates people into passing out. He's so intimidating with his energy.
With his conqueror spirit.
With his hockey. Hockey.
I think he's from, would he not be from Ireland? I know Oda's like giving out like nationalities.
I don't know if he's given Shanks's, but probably.
I would imagine. I mean, he's a Viking. Is he not?
Well, they're not from Ireland.
They're from Minnesota.
This is better than Black Adam, but that's a conversation for another time. Don't at me. I mean, at me through this, but like, don't at me.
Yeah, at Ryan the Gaffer in the comments.
Yeah.
For any of his hot takes he may have offended with. Hot takes with Ryan the Gaffer.
Dub is fine if you read the manga. Also, okay.
Dub is always fine. Just enjoy the story.
Don't you want more people to love what you love?
It's a great story.
Don't you want more people to love what you love?
Don't infight.
Don't love each other.
It's the same crowd.
It's the same show. Okay?
Same
Even if it's slightly different, it's really not.
Sure. Some words don't translate well. That's no one's fault.
That's no one's fault. And support American actors, okay? You know?
Yeah, that's why we hired Chris Sabat to voice 97% of the industry.
But he's so good! Vegeta, Piccolo, All Might, Armstrong from Full Metal Alchemist, which TJ hasn't watched. Tell TJ he needs to watch Full Metal Alchemist while you're at it.
But I do think this is a good time for final thoughts.
Yeah.
So Ryan, give me your final thoughts.
I give the movie 3 full straw hats, 1 half-ripped straw hat, and then 1 buggy, like, punctured straw hat. So it's like really, it's like
so is that
4.5. It's like 4.5, I'd say. I don't know if it's not one of those anime movies where I feel like I could watch. I would just watch it like whenever, but it was good. I think One Piece has better movies, in my opinion, but this was also different. So that's what was interesting about it, because it was a musical.
Yeah, and I mean, for that reason, I actually do think this is very rewatchable for me.
Interesting.
Because I really love the music in it. I can totally see myself listening to this on Spotify, and I intend to.
In Japanese.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is crazy too, because like they do the Japanese. She speaks English and then she sings Japanese, which we didn't really talk about that much. But like, that was something that was kind of jarring at times for me.
It was fine for me.
At least dub one song.
It didn't affect me at all. In
dub
fact,
one song.
I would have probably liked it less if they dubbed a song.
Dub one song.
I would, I agree. I actually would also give this 4.5.
Zoro swords.
He's 3 sword style though. You can only. I feel like you could only use.
He's had like 8 swords throughout the entire franchise.
Nah, I'm not going with that.
Fair enough.
I'm going with 4.5 Jinbeis.
I was gonna say Shank scars.
No, also those are famously 3.
He has 3 scars.
But anyway, yeah, I would give this 4.5.
Yeah, okay.
But more rewatchable than you said, and mostly because I haven't seen every One Piece movie. I've seen a lot of them at this point.
Yeah.
And they don't all do it for me.
Okay.
This one I felt like had really good character representation, and at the end of the day, like, One Piece is a story about its world and its characters, and I felt like this movie represented that more so than others, while being about the most central theme of One Piece being freedom.
Yes.
But yeah, I think that about wraps it up. This has been a review. I'm TJ.
I'm Ryan
And
the
if-
Gaffer.
Yeah, he's Ryan the Gaffer. And if you've enjoyed this review, like and subscribe. Think about leaving a comment. And yeah,
Support American voice acting.
Christopher Sabat needs the money. Goodbye.
You know what? I'm going to give the movie 2 Zorro swords and 3 shank scars.
No, you're not, because with editing, no one will ever hear this.
I hate how that's true.